I'm Dr. Kate Rheaume Bleue. I'm the author of the book Vitamin K2 and the Calcium Paradox, How a Little Known Vitamin Could Save Your Life. I am the host of Global Health Factors, the 1-minute news segment on Global National Morning News, talking about good news and research in the natural health industry that sometimes doesn't get the coverage that it deserves. And I am an educational spokesperson for Natural Factors. Oh, the intestinal flora can become disrupted for many reasons. Stress, antibiotic treatment, which is of course beneficial to treat infections, also can have the side effect of killing off helpful bacteria in the intestines. It's a common way the intestinal balance can become out of whack. A diet can even influence that. Some experts in the area have suggested, for example, chlorine in the water. And all of these things, and of course, infectious diseases, and even just with age, studies have shown that as we get older, there's typically a decline in the healthy bifidobacteria that we would expect or hope to find in the colon, for example, that can decline with age. So there's lots of reasons that the gut bacteria, the microbiome in the intestines, can become out of balance. Probiotics are fascinating and important for a number of reasons. We know that we have trillions of bacteria in our intestines. They make up what is called the microbiome, at least intestinal microbiome, and they influence our health in so many different ways. There is a balance of good and bad bacteria in the intestines, a very delicate balance that can get out of whack, it can become unbalanced. And probiotics are a way to help restore the balance to that intestinal bacteria. And that can have profound implications for our health in terms of immunity, digestion, and other aspects of well-being. There are two main families of bacteria that you find in the intestines, Lactobacillus in the small intestine and Bifidobacteria in the large intestine. And so a good probiotic formula typically contains some strains of each of those families. So in the Acidophilus and Bifidus, for example, is primarily Lactobacillus rhamnosus with some Lactobacillus acidophilus, as well as some Bifidobacterium bifidum, and that covers the length of the large and small intestine. Should probiotics be enteric-coated is a good question. When probiotics first came to the market, an enteric coating was considered to be the gold standard because back in those days, we didn't have the biotechnology to be able to select strains for natural acid and bile resistance, and now we do. So in fact, every strain of bacteria in the Ultimate Multi Probiotic, the regular, the double strength, and in fact all of the natural factors of probiotics are selected for natural acid and bile resistance and will resist and survive digestion as long as they're taken with food. Prebiotic is basically food that bacteria, probiotics, like to eat. Prebiotics are typically indigestible carbohydrates, so fibers, carbohydrates that people can't digest. This is food for our bacteria. Well, because you want to feed the good bacteria that you're taking in through your diet. Probiotics especially like to eat fiber, and so there's a lot of talk about having a high fiber diet and the importance of having a high fiber diet. And ultimately, that's all about feeding your gut bacteria. And so there are certain fibers that bacteria like to eat in particular. Inulin, FOS, these are examples of those. So having a little bit of those in your probiotic formula is convenient because you're providing a little bit of food for the good bacteria that you're taking in. FOS stands for fructose oligosaccharide. It's a type of, it's a compound, a naturally occurring compound that's kind of partway between a sugar and a fiber. And this helps to stabilize the bacteria in the capsule, as well as once you take probiotics along with FOS, it actually provides a food source for the probiotics that come in the capsule. The Ultimate Multi Probiotic is what you would call a modern generation or an advanced form of probiotic. And this represents the improvement in technology, our understanding in technology when it comes to probiotic bacteria. And so we see here a more sophisticated formula. You're looking at 12 different strains of bacteria, still a balance between Acidophilus Lactobacillus for the small intestine as well as Bifidobacteria for the large intestine. All the strains are guaranteed to be compatible, which means they don't compete with one another. They are also guaranteed to survive the transit of the gastrointestinal tract. And simply having these more complex formulas with more strains in them tend to be helpful for a wider range of people, since we have many different types of bacteria in our intestines, and each person's gut microbiome, or the balance of bacteria they have, is unique to them like a fingerprint. So having this wider range of strains is very useful. Ultimate Multi Probiotic is a great all-purpose formula of probiotics that is good for the whole family in terms of health maintenance, one capsule a day for people who are suffering with gastrointestinal or other kinds of health problems that have been linked to lower levels of bacteria in the intestines. 2 capsules a day is a convenient dose for this. And even 3 capsules for people who have been treated with antibiotic therapy and are looking to replenish that good bacteria. But it really is a very well-balanced, all-purpose probiotic formula.